Yeah.
Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the Bird's Nest. I'm your host, Shedrick Byrd, and sometimes known as the Mississippi Bird. Today, we have to discuss the young and the old baseball players. We have two all-star baseball players. We have Sam Allen, who played Negro baseball back in the 40s, and we have Norman Jackson Jr., who plays baseball for Great Bridge High School now. And I thought it would be a very interesting program to bring the two of them together to discuss their interest and why they got into baseball. And I'll start with Sam today and ask Sam, what made you interested in playing baseball? And one of the things I want to
Well, in 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier for baseball. And all of the blacks, we had heroes, and Jackie was a hero. Most of the kids would walk around, want to be Joe Louis. They had boxing gloves around their neck. And when Jackie Robinson broke that color barrier, I was 11 years old. And I knew that I wanted to be a baseball player. And I had the opportunity, when he came to Norfolk in 47, I had the chance to shake his hand. And I didn't go to the majors, but I did play in the Negro League.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reason I asked that question, back in the 40s, when I was growing up in Mississippi, the only balls we had were tennis balls and broom handles.
Right, but that's what I started out with. Take a broomstick and a tennis ball, and that's how you got your bat speed. You built your bat speed up.
And your bases were rocks.
Yeah.
You had rocks for bases that you run around. And that didn't excite me too much. So that's one of the reasons I asked you, how in the world did you get into playing baseball?
I was fortunate because I was small, had little bird legs, and I could run real fast, but I had good upper body strength. I had exceptional strength because I could hit home runs. I could hit the ball a long ways. And when I was going to elementary school, we used to have teams. The class would have a team, and I had a fellow named was Leonard Washington. Man, he would have been one of the greatest, but he had a problem. He couldn't hear. And during that time, they didn't have the hearing aids. You know, when you had, he was just call you dumb during that time.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But what he would do, he would hit a home run, and I would be the next batter, and I would hit foul balls until the bell rang. So we would always win. See, because after he hit the home run, I'd keep hitting foul balls, keep hitting foul balls, keep hitting foul balls. Then the class be time to go back to class. But then before I left elementary school, I started hitting balls up on the school. Yeah, I had real good strength with that.
Yeah.
You used to take the rubber ball with there's weights and having the weights. You take a rubber ball and squeeze it, squeeze the balls. That's what you got your strength, built your strength up. And that broomstick and that tennis ball, you whip that, get close and throw that tennis ball, and she'd be curving and dropping, and you take that broomstick and you be swinging at it, man.
Well, NJ, what made you interested in baseball?
To be honest with you, when I first started baseball, I was pretty bad at it, and like I wanted to be good. So it was just I fell in love with like going out to the field with my dad and stuff and hitting with him, and it just kept growing and growing, and soon enough it was what I looked forward to in the spring and working out in the fall and stuff like that. So I just fell in love with the game.
Yeah. And Sam, you went on to.
But let me tell you.
Okay.
One reason that I fell in love with the game was when I was before I was 1 year old. My grandfather, I lived with my grandfather and my mother, would go to the baseball park. We lived about 3 blocks from the baseball park, and during that time, even though the baseball, all night balls, it was segregated, but it was cheap. So what the old timers would do every evening, they'd go to the ball game, and it'd be a group, and maybe they might have a pint that they would pass around. That was like their club. So my grandmother made sure he carried me every night because he got to come home after the game. So before I started walking, once I started walking, I knew the signals. I could I could tell you the strategy of the players. I knew the players' numbers. See, in Norfolk was the Norfolk Tars was New York Yankees farm team. I remember seeing Whitey Ford, Clint Courtney, Bobby Richardson, and the strange thing about it, blacks had to come in the side gate. You couldn't go in the front gate at High Rock Park in Norfolk. And our grandstand was next to the white people's bleachers, and then we had the bleachers down. But we went to the games because we loved the game.
Yeah. And when I was growing up, and I'll ask you this: how did you end up at the majors? What the process went through to get them with the black?
The black league.
Yeah.
See, my intention was going into organized ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I by being small, see, during that time, they were looking at scouts were looking at the big guys. See, that's like Jackie Robinson was real thick. See, and Monty Irvin was big guys. Most of those guys were college boys. They played football, and but I was short, and the scouts, for some reason, and I know the Norfolk Tars, they had a spring training one year, and I played. I hit a home run and got a double. They got 2 for 4. And the next day, I was one of them that got cut. But see, during that time, on the white teams, they weren't going to have so many blacks on the team. You see, and what had happened with the Tars, they had someone in the Yankee organization that they were going to send down. So that's why they just had us out there to satisfy the public, saying we had a trial. But then I was fortunate to go to Douglas, Georgia, Cincinnati Reds minor league camp. That's where the majors have all the minor league teams there. And that was 1957. And I was doing real good. And we had a guy named Bill Powell. He had played in the Negro League. He was a pitcher. And he called everybody Junior. He said, Junior, let me tell you something. He said, you better try to play with one of them Negro League teams, because they got about 3 teams, and they got a plane load of Cubans was coming, 50. He said that plane comes twice a year. It comes in the spring to bring them, and it comes in the fall to pick them up. He said they can play. And he won't lie, because they could play. And what had happened that year, Kirk Flood, the one who tested reserve clause for baseball, he was with Cincinnati, but Cincinnati wasn't ready for an all-black outfield. Because they had Vita Pinson and Frank Robinson. But they weren't ready for the all-black, so they sent Kirk Flood back to try to make him develop him into a third baseman. So he ended up playing with Savannah that year. So I was down there and at the camp, and what they would do, they had so many players, you had a number on your back. And every morning when you go in, they had squads, and you look at the squad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squad, and then on the 4 a.m., that's when they tell you, they send you home. You've been cut. See, you look in there, and you don't want to look down there. So, I mean, we were about a couple of weeks before they were getting ready to break camp. So I said, "Oh boy, I think I'm gonna make this." So then one day I looked, and I didn't see my name, and then I looked over in that inn, And that's when when the crocodile's tears started coming. Man, that's the first time I ever cried like that. And the man said, well, you a good ball player, but we just don't think you're major league material. So I said, so what had happened, I had met a fellow named Bob Mitchell who had played with the Monarchs the year before. So he had given me his telephone number. He said, take this number in case you don't make it. You can call us. So I came home, and I was disgusted. I had about $25, so I called him. He said, man, come on down to Jacksonville. You can make this team. I said, what? I said, yeah, you can make this team. Man, I went down the trailway, got me a $19 ticket. And packed so fast, I had some French Rama shoes. So on the bus between Norfolk and Suffolk, put the shoes up over my head. When I got to Suffolk, somebody stole my shoes.
Oh,
So this is the first time I've been away from home. So I went to the bus driver. I said, hey, bus driver. I said, look, somebody stole my shoes. So the cracker told me, he said, hey man, what you want me to do, buy you a new pair? He kept on. So we get into South Carolina. So this is a trailway now. I got $6 in my pocket. Don't know nobody in Jacksonville, but I talked with this guy Bob Mitchell that I met down at the camp. So left on a Good Friday night. So during that time to get to Jacksonville, it was a Saturday night. At night, 12 o'clock. And when I pull up on Astor Street with the Charlie Ed Hotel, the Monarchs, they getting ready to load up to come to Charleston. So Dismute, he was the manager of the Monarchs. He was about 80, but he was a good 80 years old. So he said, son, you could have met us in Charleston. I said, no. So what happened, I got on that bus, and we went to Charleston. So when we get to Charleston, staying at the Hotel James. This is a black hotel. You can stay in a white hotel. So I got a Cuban roommate, and this particular hotel, everything, most of the rooms are filled up. We got one bed in the room. When I go to the room, he weigh about 250. He don't speak any English, and I don't speak Spanish. He laying in the middle of the bed. So I looked at him, I grabbed my suitcase, I went down in the lobby and jumped on the sofa. So the next day we went to the ballpark, and a guy named Jim Williams, he came in with 3 ball players. See, I didn't know he was an old shyster. Now, the man said, well, what happened to you? He said, well, the bus broke down. So what I did, I grabbed 3 of the players. I wonder why he didn't get more than 3, you know. So the Monarchs hadn't cut the squad. So Disney said, look, don't usually like to do this, because he was an honorable man. He said, but look, the park is filled up with people, and we can't give them people that money back. So you play with Jacksonville today. I said, okay. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. The first time up, I got a single and I stole base. Next time up, I struck out. Then the next time up, I thought about it. I said, Sam, you down here in South Carolina, you got $4 in your pocket and nowhere to stay. Shucks, I hit one over the scoreboard, man. And after the game, the manager, he said, well, I don't have to worry about you beating us anymore. Sign this contract. I think the contract was about $150. Look, I get 10 times more than that now from Major League Baseball. That's why sometimes you can take a lemon and make lemonade out of it. See, so that's the way life is. Yeah. But, I was able to make that team.
But you know what? I thought most of the teams came out of Memphis.
Memphis had their own ballpark.
Yeah, now in 1948, I guess 49, we used to get a ride with Mr. Son Johnson. He'd load up his car,
Yeah.
and that was 90 miles drive. We'd go to Memphis,
Right.
and the ballpark be full.
Yeah, Martin Stadium.
Yeah.
But I ended up playing with Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
1959.
so, we'd go and everything, but it still didn't take my interest in playing ball. I go back to my little stick and my little tennis ball.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
yeah.
but Memphis, Charlie Pride, he played in Memphis.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so anyhow, well, you listening to him, have you experienced anything like that before?
Not like that.
What's your life been like?
If anything, I've like roomed with other players, but there was enough beds for everybody, and it won't really they could speak enough English to be able to talk to you. But, I mean,
Oh, you've played with other
I played with a few
Hispanics?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Were they Cubans?
I think
Probably
that,
Dominican now.
Yeah. That was what was that? Was that AAU baseball or what?
yeah.
Yeah.
See, once Castro took over, he stopped the Cubans from coming. They just started back. Yeah, but at one time, it was just Cubans. You didn't have any Dominican playing, see. Yeah, it was just Cubans. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, your experience is somewhat different. You think?
Very different.
But the times were different. But,
Yes,
let me
indeed.
tell you, we stayed in black hotels, and you had 10 rooms on the floor. At the end of the room, end of the hall, was 2 bathrooms. Male and female bathroom. Now, you in your room, you got a basin and a pitcher. I don't know if you've seen at the antique stores. You've seen these pitchers with the water and a little towel in the room.
Yeah.
And you got in the lobby. Now this is how far this is back. You got a TV in the lobby in the hotel. One TV in the hotel. And you, in your room, you got a radio. You put 10 cents in the radio place. And at that hotel, there was Nat King Cole staying there, the 5 Blind Boys of Alabama. All of us stayed in the same hotel. I was at the hotel in Miami. Prince George, what was it? Prince George, Miami. Sammy Davis Jr. was there. They played out on the beach, but they had to stay uptown. Yeah, but during those times.
Yeah. How was black baseball players received back in those days? As a team.
Man, but what happened? See, black baseball put a lot of money into the community because you figured with 2 teams coming, you got about 20, 40 people. That's 20-some rooms a hotel's gonna rent. The restaurant gonna serve some meals. See, so we put a lot of money into the community. It was a lot of money, and most of the teams in the Negro League were owned by number bankers. But see, numbers was the black. That was our Wall Street. See, we had a lot of millionaires from behind numbers. See, because the owner, fellow that owned the Monarchs when I played was named Raspberry. He was from West Point, Mississippi. He was a school teacher. He hit the lottery, and he went to Grand Rapids, and he controlled half of the numbers in Detroit, the numbers in Grand Rapids, Saginaw, Flint. And when Goose Tatum had that basketball team, the Harlem Satellites, that was his team. He was the one that.
Oh, okay, okay.
And Raspberry owned the Monarchs and the Detroit Stars. What he had to do is his cousin, he had worked from Mississippi, he put the Detroit Stars in her name. See, because you couldn't have 2 teams in this, let you own 2 teams, yeah.
Have you ever heard of any of these teams
No, sorry. Satellites.
Mhm.
A
The basketball,
team?
yeah. See, Goose Tatum used to play with the Globetrotters. Now, the Globetrotters used to play the game before the NBA played to bring the crowds in.
Right.
That was, yeah, they come to see the Globetrotters play.
Mm.
Then the NBA would play.
Well, working on up to today, you just got accepted as a National League player now.
Oh, yeah,
the
what
teams
they-
have joined together.
Right. In Major League Baseball, they I can say they give them my 40 acres. And I told them keep the mule. But yeah, what happened? A fellow named Bob Mitchell, he from Florida, from West Palm Beach. So he went to the senator, and he said, "Man, we're gonna try to get some money from Major League Baseball because what happened when they took Jackie Robinson, most of the black fans got polarized with a black playing on a white team, so they stopped going to see blacks playing on black teams. But the Negro Leagues never filed suit against Major League Baseball. So what they did, Nelson was in that senator from Florida, and what's the fellow name that just died? The what was his name? Just died. Reed, Harry Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of them that helped. They passed that they give us a check. In other words, when we get a check, and it's tax free, you know. But for years, I was supposed to get the check almost in about 15, 16 years ago. They called me and told me, said, "Yeah, so we found out that you got time in for a check, and he said we're gonna send you a check." And the man, he told me that. I said, "How much you say it is?" And he told me, and I said, "How much you say?" I guess the man thought I was crazy. He said, "Then you get a check every month." So I get more money now for not playing than I did when I was playing. Yeah, and that's amazing.
Now, what kind of benefits, other than the money, do you get by being a member, by them combining the league?
No, but we don't get. The only benefits we get is now borough. You get a borough, but you don't get health insurance. But you get and they get a check every month. So that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Plus that lump sum they gave us. See.
Yeah. Well, what's some of your aspirations, NJ, as far as going baseball? Is that something that you would like to go to the majors with? You just want to get through college? What?
Yes, sir. I wanted to go and play college baseball and see how well I did there. If I needed to,
see if you
focus
can.
in.
Yeah. Because see what's happening. I tell you about baseball. You play it every day. See now in the Negro League, I thought I loved baseball until about the first month I was there. And I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be a baseball player or not. You play Monday through Thursday. We played one game. Friday night, we start playing double headers. Then Saturday you play a double header. Some Sundays you play two double headers. I mean, not in the same place.
Yeah.
You play a double header here, you may drive about 40 miles and play another double header.
Wow.
Then you got to play today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, and you get tired. You get tired.
Is it that rigorous now? You see?
No, but it's that every day. It's every day. So now you might get 2 or 3 hits a day, but then you got to face another pitcher tomorrow. You may get some hits tomorrow, but then the day after tomorrow, you still got to play. So you got to be consistent. And then it's a thinking game too. So now if the word gets around that you're a good low ball hitter, they're gonna start high ball. So then you got to learn how to hit the high ball. See, and if you're good high ball hitter, they're gonna pitch you low. If you can't hit the curve ball, they're gonna throw the curve back. See,
How about that?
yeah, and that's what you got to think. See, now what I used to do, I used to be a leadoff batter, and I hit a few home runs first pitch, because first pitch, the pitcher trying to get it over the plate. But then after a couple of weeks, they knew I was the first pitch hitter, so I'd take the first pitch.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you got to, it's like a chess game,
Right,
you know.
right.
Hmm. Do you see it that way?
Most definitely.
Yeah, and
And then you got to be able to do so many things playing baseball. See, you got to be a good glove man. You got to have an arm, be able to throw. You got to be able to run. You got to have strength, and you got to be durable. See, that's a lot of players that every day beat them down. See, and we were traveling. We had them wool uniforms, man. Look, and we didn't have no air. See, got air conditioning now. You didn't have no air conditioning bus. And the hotels we stayed in didn't have no air conditioning. See, man, look, when you get to we had to get to the ballpark early that night before the game and air them uniforms out. Except if you played with Memphis. See, now Memphis, I played with Memphis in 1959, and Memphis was just like, it was great in Memphis because you stayed out on the road for 2 weeks, then you come home and played in Memphis for 2 weeks. See? And at Memphis, Doc had a hotel, not a hotel, a hospital in Mississippi. And we had, in the ballparks, we had rooms, but we had hospital beds in the room, and we had a kitchen at the ballpark, and we had a place to wash our clothes. So Memphis, and then all the clubs in Memphis, you tell them, see, I'm a Memphis Red Sox, you just sign your name, man. First month I was in Memphis, I don't think I had about $25, $30 a payday, because I'd been to these restaurants and clubs and just signed my name, and you got the tab, just sign it, and when the end of the month, that tab, all that, when Doc had that, added that up.
Well, what do you think about the long term of being a professional baseball player?
What do you mean long term?
You know, after college.
Oh, after college, I would love to do it if I had the opportunity to play that far and be able
And
to.
if you're lucky too, if you get drafted, see, just like the Upton boys,
Yeah, right.
DJ, and his dad got to be the luckiest black man, well, not black man, any man. He's a black man, and he had one son that was drafted number 2 in the draft, got $4.5 million. Then his next son got drafted number 1. They didn't want to give him a 4.5. He held out a year and got 5.5. So that's almost $10 million in that house before he even started playing.
Right.
So they got a mortgage company. So that's, you don't never know what's down the road.
Yeah, what's gonna happen?
Which, if you want to go, if that's what you want to do. But you got to, I tell you, you got to be willing to do it. Yeah.
I got a chance to.
You got a
play
chance.
with,
Yeah.
Mr. Upton down in Georgia last summer.
Okay. You did. Boss man.
Yeah.
Oh, you went to travel team.
Yes, sir.
Well, you must be pretty good then. Yeah, you went to travel
Yeah,
team.
he pretty good player.
Yeah, you were boss man. Yeah, you got
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's good, and if he puts his mind to it, I'm sure he can make the pros. But he's got some heavy stuff going on, being a chemist or engineer, and all of that, and then baseball too.
Yeah, but he can do it. He can do it.
Yeah, so that's why I asked, that question. And,
What they say, to him, a lot is given, a lot is expected. So you can make it.
And the kids nowadays, the players nowadays, I should say, I laughed because I was trying to get that article that I had written about you, and when you were talking about how you used to travel on the bus. You hit on it just a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
but you didn't go into it. how you know you
The crackers in there.
it's sleeping
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and all of that, the traveling.
Yeah, and I kept a jar of peanut butter and honey. See, first thing in the morning, you grab you some honey and 2 tablespoons of honey. See, then what you do, you go to a restaurant, you get 2 spoons and put them on your eyes. See, that'll clear your eyes up. You've been staying up riding all night. See, your eyes be red. You just put them cold spoons on there. And the eyes whiten right up. Yeah.
And the uniforms, they get washed off.
Plus, for lunch, get a 10-cent bowl of beans and a 10-cent bowl of rice and mix that beans and rice, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyhow, you know, those were some
See,
treacherous
but,
days.
This is the thing you got to find out if you can do it. If you're strong enough, you've been on a bus ride, right? But you got to play the game tonight. After the game, you take a shower and you get on the bus. You ride to the next town. You might ride until game time the next night. Yeah, we've done that. We've been on the bus and put our uniforms on the bus when we get to the ballpark. We're playing. Yeah.
Did y'all play many white teams back in
Oh yeah, we used to love to play white teams.
Yeah, and how was that? How did they receive? How was that received?
Well, we used to fight like dogs. Now we played at Fort Wayne, Indiana. They had a team, Allen Derry. They won the Amateur World Series. But we used to play all through the Midwest. Now, the year when I was with the Monarch, we went all the way up to near Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
We played in Montana. And that's where Charlie Pride with Memphis, he went up there and he worked up there in Montana, in Missoula.
Mm-hmm.
And we played in one little town in South Dakota we went to. They didn't have a ballpark. We saw the trees and that was where the ballpark. Man, they took a bulldozer and pushed them trees down and strung up some lights with the dynamo. Now with the dynamo, that dynamo would be cranking up. And when that started cranking up, them lights would get real dim, man. And just hope don't nobody hit no fly ball while you can't get real dark. Then it would lighten up.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, this has been a very interesting interview, and I've been trying to do this for.
Tell you about black baseball was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you ever seen any pictures of Jackie Robinson when he broke in with the Dodgers, when he got on base, you watch it. No player since Robinson or before Robinson could do this. He would deliberately let you trap him off the base. And then he would go, go this way. He'd end up with his other base. He would end up on second base.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would worry the pitcher, tell the pitcher would ball. Then he would take that base, and And then when he got on third base, he'd steal home on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but black baseball was exciting. Yeah. We
Well,
had home runs, and we did this. Can you bunt? And that's what I could do. So I could drag. I could dump that bunt down.
did you know that's what they call it, drag?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you played with Great Bridge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Y'all had, what's his name? Coach. He ended up. They won so many. He ended up.
Wiley Lee.
Yeah. Where's he now?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's still in the area. I know he does. I thought he still did some lessons.
Yeah, I think because I saw him when they inducted him into the Hampton Roads Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, because I was inducted in there in 2003. But I tell you what is one of my happy moments in life is 2 or 3 things I got. That's to show you this. This is what they give me, and I lost this for almost a year. I didn't tell nobody. But see this, that I can go to Yankee Stadium. I go to any professional baseball park in the country with a guest,
How about that?
and
Nice
sit
time.
and sit in the $400 seats with this. You don't sit on no nosebleed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this
but-
is so that's
Wow.
the deal.
Yes, yes. Oh, wow. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's
And-
great.
And the Tides, they got my picture on the wall at the ballpark. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're going to end this today, and I appreciate this. This is something I've been wanting to do or trying to get together for over a year now, and so hopefully we get back together again sometime with some interesting stories. Some of yours where you have been successful.
yeah, maybe the end of
And
the
your-
season, baseball season, we
Yeah.
come back and we see what he's done.
Yeah,
Baseball season.
yeah.
we'll-
So
Yeah.
I do thank both of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.